We now shift our focus to what Russia's Federal Security Service, or FSB, has said. It says it has thwarted multiple assassination plots allegedly orchestrated by Ukraine's intelligence services. What were the targets? According to it, high-ranking Russian military officials and their families. The FSB says these plans involved bombs cleverly disguised as everyday items like power banks and document folders intended to strike in the heart of Moscow. The security agency FSB, by the way, is the main successor to the Soviet-era KGB. FSB officials reportedly described the plots as sophisticated and aimed at destabilizing Russia's leadership. According to the FSB, in one plot, a Russian citizen recruited by Ukrainian intelligence was tasked with planting a magnetic bomb under a senior defense ministry official's car. This explosive device was allegedly disguised as a portable charger. Another operative had been tasked with conducting surveillance on top Russian military figures. The FSB also saying that there was a plot of delivering a bomb disguised as a simple documents folder, with one suspect allegedly retrieving a bomb on December 23. However, the exact dates for these planned attacks remain unclear. In a statement, the FSB said that they had prevented a series of assassination attempts on high-ranking military personnel of the Defense Ministry, adding that 4 Russian citizens involved in the preparation of these attacks had been detained. Footage aired on Russian state television reportedly showing some of these suspects confessing to their roles, claiming to have received orders and materials directly from Ukrainian intelligence. Even in isolation, the foiling of these Ukrainian plots by Russia is extremely significant. But that's not all. There is greater context to this. You see, the FSB statements come less than 2 weeks after a top Russian general overseeing the country's nuclear, biological and chemical defense programs was killed in Moscow. The general died when a bomb attached to an electric scooter detonated outside his apartment building. Ukraine's SBU intelligence agency has reportedly admitted to carrying out that attack. Russia called the killing a terrorist attack by Kiev and vowed revenge. Last Friday, Russia fired hypersonic Kinzhal missiles and Iskander ballistic missiles targeting key locations in Kiev. The Russian Ministry of Defense described the attack as a direct response to Kiev's missile strike on Rostov. All of this marking a rather dangerous chapter for the Russia-Ukraine war, the end to which is nowhere in sight as of now. Meanwhile, the IDF has said soldiers seized over 85,000 Hezbollah weapons from over 30 villages since entering Lebanon. These include weapons such as around 2,200 large rockets, 6,800 small anti-tank missiles and rockets, 340 advanced Cornet missiles, 60 anti-aircraft missiles, and 20 vehicles equipped with firing over a dozen rockets at a time. Meanwhile, the IDF has also seized 9,000 IEDs, 5,500 guns, and around 61,000 Hezbollah-linked electronic items, equipment, and documents. The IDF also announced that it killed more than 3,800 Hezbollah fighters and injured around 9,000 since the start of the war. Around 3,000 Hezbollah fighters were reportedly killed since mid-September. Former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant in October had said that around 80% of Hezbollah's large-scale firepower had been destroyed. The IDF on Wednesday said that 75% of Hezbollah's short-range rockets and 70% of strategic weapons have been destroyed. While Hezbollah's ammunition of around 40,000 mortars has also been reduced to 6,000 to 8,000. Adding that strategic and long-range rockets has been reduced to around 100 from 1,000. Before the war, the IDF had reportedly estimated that Hezbollah's larger weapons, including mortars, stood at around 150,000. A Reuters report at the start of the month stated that Hezbollah is in the process of rebuilding its stockpiles and forces based on US intel. The report further highlighted that Hezbollah had begun to recruit new fighters and was trying to find ways to rearm through domestic production and by smuggling materials through Syria. It's important to note that when the report had been published, Syria was still under the control of Bashar al-Assad, a close ally of Hezbollah and Iran. But this is all changed within a few days. As HTS forces started advancing towards Damascus, Assad fled and sought refuge in Russia. Our top story tonight on Gravitas focuses on the latest from Syria, where the new administration led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, is facing major challenges. After toppling the Assad regime in a bloodless coup just over 2 weeks ago, HTS finds itself battling unrest, resistance and growing tensions, both within the country and from its regional neighbors. In Thwarts, remnants of the ousted Assad regime reportedly ambushed and killed at least 17 police officers. The attackers reportedly also injured 10 others. As per local reports, the Syrian Interior Minister, Mohammad Abdul Rahman, has vowed swift action, stating that anyone threatening Syria's stability or its citizens would face severe consequences. The ambush reportedly occurred as security forces attempted to apprehend a former officer linked to abuses at a prison near Damascus. As per reports, there is an ongoing crackdown on pro-Assad militias in the region, with arrests already underway. Syria is reportedly engulfed in sectarian and political tensions. A video has reportedly surfaced showing a shrine in Aleppo being desecrated. Armed men were reportedly seen vandalizing the site and posing near human remains. The video, believed to date back to November, incited protests across cities like Latakia, Jable and Thwarts. Amid the outrage, Syrian police imposed curfews in these cities. The Syrian Interior Ministry reportedly said the video circulation aims to ignite sectarian violence. Demonstrations, particularly in homes, have been driven by members of the Alawite and Shia communities, minority groups that traditionally supported the Assad regime. Residents in these cities are reportedly claiming the protests are in response to recent threats and violence targeting their communities. HTS now finds itself walking on a tightrope. The new administration has on multiple occasions pledged to protect minority groups. As per reports, high-level meetings held late Wednesday reportedly explored options for dealing with Assad loyalists, including a potential large-scale crackdown. However, fears of sparking a bloody confrontation are reportedly holding HTS back. Just for context here, for nearly a quarter of a century, Bashar al-Assad ruled Syria with an iron grip, following his father's legacy. But on December 8, as HTS forces reached closer to Damascus, Assad fled to Russia. And now, as HTS tries to consolidate power, the country remains on edge. In Latakia and Thwarts, tensions are reportedly particularly high. Reinforcements have been deployed, but skirmishes and unrest continue. Meanwhile, in Manbij, northern Syria, there are reports of clashes erupting between Kurdish forces and the Syrian National Army, backed by Turkey. You see, the Kurds, supported by the United States, controlled northeastern Syria for nearly a decade. However, Turkey views the Kurdish YPG militia as an extension of the PKK, a group outlawed in Turkey. The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday issued a stark warning, urging Kurdish fighters to disarm or face annihilation.
We are determined to crush the heads of terrorist organizations that threaten the perpetuity of both countries, starting with Islamic State and the PKK. As I said after the cabinet meeting, the old conditions are impossible. The separatist murderers will either bid farewell to their weapons or they will be buried in Syrian lands along with their weapons.
And Ankara's involvement does not end there, by the way. Following Assad's ouster, Turkey has reportedly positioned itself as a key power broker in Syria's future. And this move has inflamed tensions with Iran, a staunch ally of the former Assad regime. The foreign policy advisor to Iran's supreme leader accused Turkey of collaborating with Western and Israeli-backed forces to destabilize Syria. Early this week, a senior Iranian cleric even openly criticized Ankara, blaming Turkey for Assad's downfall and warned Erdogan of dire consequences. The rivalry between these regional powers in West Asia further complicating Syria's already precarious situation. Domestically, Syria faces more unrest in the Christian majority town of Souqe Labia. Anger flared after a Christmas tree was set ablaze in the town square. The incident, captured on video and shared widely, sparked protests demanding better protection for religious minorities. HTS said that foreign fighters were responsible for the act and that they have been detained. Furthermore, leaders of the group reaffirmed their commitment to safeguarding Syria's diverse religious and ethnic communities. But you see, for many Syrians, trust in HTS reportedly remains tenuous. The bloodless coup that toppled Assad brought about hope for change. But sectarian divides, regional tensions, and unresolved territorial disputes threaten HTS's hold on power. The situation in Syria remains volatile, to say the least. The question is, can HTS counter these challenges? Is this just a passing phase? Or will Syria plunge deeper into chaos? Is this a sign of things to come?